Hey guys, back here for another video, and this is Total Drama World Tour with Amy and Samey, or Amy and Sammy, however you want to go there. Anyways, so I think for team to build up here, I think Amy would split off from Samey and follow Alejandro around, which leads her to the split just after team victory. And Sammy would come on her own later. Man, how many times have I been call her two different names? Should keep track of that in the video. Anyway, so yeah, Sierra and Izzy still switch teams, hence their positions here, so we're perfectly balanced. And as you can see, we'll get to Duncan later. So episode 2 is pretty much unchanged. Ezekiel still loses a stick and gets voted off. Alejandro basically has Amy at his hip now. So he wanted to be on the same team as Lashana, Bridget, and Lindsay, because easy manipulation for him. So this is a good consolation. So anyways, we move on to a super happy fun time in Japan, where we still get the same volunteers: DJ, Alejandro, Cody, and Sierra. And once again, I feel like maybe Samey might try to prove herself, but gets shut down by no one paying attention. And as for the relationship between Kim Chris really hot now, I think, like I said, Amy's kind of just buttered up to Alejandro. But like I said, no major changes yet. So we get to the filmmaking challenge. I think these three still split off. I don't think Samey's going to leave Sierra and Cody. So I think with Samey's help, this might be where she can make a really good impression and start to develop a friendship with Cody and Sierra. And through the extra help, they make their commercial even better than it was before and make it, I don't know, first class super, we'll just call it that. So yeah, they still win. Team victory. Alejandro gets Harold the Sudoku, and we move on to episode 4. Episode 4. So I don't really think anything changes here either. I think Bridget still gets swooned out of the game by Alejandro. And so after that, yeah, there's really nothing to say. I think all Tyler would have to do is pull an extra person up off the cliff. I don't think Amy's difference between Team Chris is really hot, falling into the icy waters in the cavern and making it. So go Tyler strong fingers, I guess. So Bridget's out. Alright, episode 5, non-elimination. Since we do have 2 extra people, I am going to make episode, the Rapid New, I think 22 elimination, and we'll make 17 an elimination. I think that's save the eliminations for later, so nothing like that of the sort. Deal with later. Excuse me. So, episode 6. We get to that's another non-elimination. That's Aftermath, where Bridget gets fucking toasted. Let's see, episode 7. That would be Germany, Slap Slap Revolution. Once again, I think having an extra person just makes these 2 teams even stronger, and Team Victory gets pooped on even harder. So Lashana still throws after going after Heather, and she's out. And during all this, like I said, basically Amy is in a position, she's basically number 2 on our team, basically second in command, which I think would off-put Izzy, Noah. I don't think Tyler would like her either. I think Tyler would actually be more distant from Alejandro because of Amy. and maybe that'll come into play later. So, we go to episode 8 in the Amazon non-elimination. Episode 9, DJ throws, Lindsay's out, Sierra loses her shit over Cody, and I think that maybe, well, these three are mad at Cody. Samey has been noticing how much of a stalker and annoying Sierra is. You know they're still friends. She doesn't approve of what Sierra's been doing, and maybe stands up for Cody. So maybe Cody doesn't drop his image. I don't know. I guess morale-wise doesn't lose as much as he did in the episode. So minor stuff there. Episode 10, non-elimination. Episode 11, Izzy gets crushed by the plane. Alejandro sabotages DJ. And goodbye team victory. You know, I think it would personally make more sense for Alejandro to sabotage Team Amazon, considering they still have a full team. But hey, that's the way he did in canon. And we go to episode 13. Since episode 12 is a non-elimination. So 13. Team Amazon finds Duncan. He goes to Team Chris is really, really hot. They lose the challenge. And now, this is where the vote becomes interesting, in my opinion. So, Alejandro wants Noah gone. Because he's on to him. So I think he convinced Amy to vote out Noah. Excuse me. Tyler, I think, is not with this. I think he's still, friends with Noah and Owen. So I think these three, you know what might happen? Noah and Owen vote for Alejandro. These two vote for Noah, so it's 2-2. Tyler votes for Amy. They make it 2-2-1. And that makes Duncan the deciding vote. And it's either going to be a 3-way tiebreaker, which has never happened before on Total Drama, or we have him just break the tiebreaker. And I think, I don't think the writers would want to do a triple tiebreaker, so maybe they infuse Chris to limit his options, since he was a last second vote on anyway, so he gives him the option between Alejandro and Noah. He picks Noah, and Noah goes, unfortunately. But if there was no plot armor, time constraints, anything like that, that could be a triple tiebreaker vote, because I could see Duncan vote for Amy. Episode 14, Grease's Pieces, Kiss Happens, non-elimination. Episode 15, The X-Files. So, in this iteration of The X-Files, I would say, so this is where we kind of have to look at the team dynamics now. I would think that Tyler still probably cost the team the challenge. And since he's not been as close as Alejandro this season, I don't think there's any way that these three decide to keep him around. I think Owen could still vote for Amy. Maybe Tyler votes for 2, so it's still a 3-2 vote instead of 4-1 or something like that. And yeah, so Tyler's out. As for Team Amazon, Courtney's trying to throw. She hates Gwen. Heather is still just back and forth on who she wants to eliminate between the two of them. Meanwhile, I would say that Amy, or Samey, has been sort of the buffer between Cody and Sierra. So I'm thinking that these two probably have grown somewhat close. And the only thing keeping Cody from being completely harassed by Sierra is Samey. And I think Sierra is starting not to like her because she's getting away with that. And so she hates Gwen, but she also hates, or starting to hate Samey now. So there's a lot of hate on this team. Episode 16. Alright, in Australia, I think that Team Chris is really, really hot wins. with the extra help now, Amy would probably be pissed by Owen, or so he's probably getting on her last nerves. If I had to take a guess, I'm thinking Duncan's pretty much fed up with Amy by this point, and I think because Amy's here, or Alejandro has no reason to work with Duncan at all, because Amy fills that void. And the only reason why Tyler got voted off is because he also has Amy to fill that void of needing help. And it could have targeted Duncan in the X-Files, but I figured just drop Tyler now, deal with Duncan in a second here, because I don't really think they're going to keep him around. Anyway, Team Amazon at the elimination. So Cody still gets spun around and votes for Sierra. Heather and Gwen vote for Courtney. I think Courtney votes for... Well, obviously Courtney votes for Gwen. Sierra votes for Gwen. So it's 2-2-1. Or 2-2-1. And once again, this could be the interesting spot where it becomes a three-way tiebreaker, where, maybe Samey sends Sierra to make it a three-way tiebreaker elimination, or maybe that. So it's basically Samey's deciding vote on either a tiebreaker or who goes home. And so I think the word before the challenge is that Cody and Gwen, who are still friends, are going for Courtney. I don't think Samey is going to go against Cody. So I think she votes for Courtney, because I think she would scare her a little bit. And I feel like Courtney can be bossy. She probably bossed around Samey. Probably didn't respect her most of the season or even notice her. So Samey sends Courtney packing in episode 16. Episode 17, which is now an elimination. So in this challenge, Sweet and Sour, like I said, Cody isn't devastated, obviously, because Gwen's here, and also he has a good friend now. So I think, does he still build Gwen's head? I don't think so. I don't know, maybe just builds the actual boat, since, I don't know. We'll just say Cody just builds the actual boat this time. Say he has unmatched construction skills that actually get tapped into this episode. So both teams build the boat. I think Owen launches and still takes the win home for Team Chris is really, really hot. It's basically saving Duncan, I would have to say. Or at least, it'd probably been a tie, actually. So Team Amazon goes to elimination again. And this is where it gets interesting again. I think despite Gwen wanting to go more for Heather than Sierra, or, you know what, since Heather actually stuck with Gwen in Australia, I think Gwen is maybe a little bit lightened up on Heather, and would now be more receptive to the idea of Cody and Samey voting Sierra off. And, 4-1 vote, because I feel like Heather just doesn't want to cause conflict if she knows Sierra's going home. She just gets on the vote, and it's a 4-1 vote, and Sierra's gone, and she would be pissed. And she would probably take it out on Samey, and probably accuse her of being a boyfriend stealer just like Courtney. And now we get to the merge. So, we'll go with the pairings. So, I don't even know if there's any canonical pairings left. Besides Owen and Blaney. So, double A's will work with Alejandro and Amy. C and D, so we'll go Duncan and Gwen. And so this leaves Heather or Samey with the bear. And, for the sake of the season and that these two have been together this entire time, we'll say Heather gets the bear. Karma, I guess. So in this episode, Alejandro throws. Duncan and Gwen are probably the favorites. Heather doesn't handle the bear, falls. Cody and Samey do alright, but let's say they still fall. So I think it's Duncan and Gwen that win the challenge. It's Owen and... We'll say that Owen absolutely just ripping one on that line just sends Cody and Samey off. So, important details, people. We'll say Duncan and Gwen win. And, well, Alejandro's strategy of throwing come back to get him? Who knows? So, the votes, I think that these four are kind of a pact. Heather's in the middle. These two are together. And then, like I said, I don't really see a reason for these four to go for Owen. If anything, I feel like they would want to add Owen on as a fifth vote, so they basically decide who goes home. I mean, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to send Owen home. So despite Alejandro getting, let's say, Blaney and Amy to vote for Owen, it doesn't matter because Heather's here, and we'll just say Heather's vote could go so many ways. We'll say Heather votes for Amy. So in a 5-3 to 1 vote, so obviously they're going to be voting for someone. I didn't say who. I think that who would they decide to vote for? I think so. Samey wants Amy gone. I think Gwen would want Heather gone. Duncan probably thinks Alejandro is no good and wants him gone. Owen. So Cody's probably open to suggestions. Owen sees everyone as a friend, but he probably thinks Amy's the meanest on the team, so he probably wants her gone. So you got two people who want Amy gone. And I think Cody can get on board with this, since he probably likes Samey by this point. So, Duncan and Gwen agree to get let on this. So, in a 5-3 to 1 vote, with Amy, these three voted for Owen, and Heather, we'll say Heather votes for Amy also. So, in a 6-3 vote, Amy's gone. And so she's out in Niagara Brawls. Episode 20, a double elimination. I kind of want to make this one a single, but I would have probably had to made episode 7 Amazon or Newfoundland elimination, make this a single. I really don't want to try to make the votes a tie to make it canon, but anyway, an eating challenge, and we'll just give this one immunity to Owen. And you basically have the same group of... Now we're shifting. You have the same group of 5 now have the power. And, I think Duncan and Cody are still a little bit at odds, but, now that he has Samey, that they're close, I think he's a lot less butthurt about the Duncan Gwen situation. It's kind of like oh well, I got something better going on now. So, you have 3 targets here. You have Alejandro, Mulaney, and Heather. And I think that these 5, I think that even though Gwen, Cody, and Samey are okay with Heather, I think between these 3, they all have reasons. Lanley's just not likable for them from their point of view. Alejandro's mysterious, and Heather's Heather. So you can make a good case for any one of them to go. And I think Alejandro and Blaine are together for this vote. I think he realizes he needs some sort of support beam. So I think that he gets... I don't know if he'd work with Heather. I think Heather's just going to try to float here. Excuse me. Anyway, Oh, this is a difficult one. This is great. I'm glad there's no plot armor right now. You can just eliminate whoever you want in these hypotheticals. I'm gonna say that since that Samey and Owen got the vote for Amy in the last episode, or vote Amy off, I think that since Duncan and Gwen went along with that, I think these three will let these two pick, and I think Duncan. I think they go for Alejandro. No. This is a tough one. I'm gonna say they go for Blaney just to keep some plot moving. Anyways, so they vote for Blaney in a five person vote. Heather, we'll say that these three vote for Duncan, because I feel like he would be the biggest threat among this group. So Duncan goes with Blaney, and it was just, I don't even know. That's like any one of those three could be picked here, alternate to the alternate. So we have these four versus Heather and Alejandro, who realize they need to stick together. And in episode 21, African Lion Safari, Alejandro, we'll say, wins immunity. But obviously, with a 4-person vote, I mean, I'm sure Heather, Alejandro, we try to manipulate them in some way to get a split. But these three, I think these two are bonded enough, and Gwen's smart enough not to let that happen. So Alejandro, is he okay? I mean, like, how much effort is he going to put into saving Heather? Because she is a threat. He does like her. But at the same time, he would have to put in some absolute manipulation work. And even if he turns someone's vote, so let's say they gun for Gwen, because they're not going to be able to flip these three votes. The only one I think they can manipulate is Owen, and their only strategy, if these two stick together, is to get Owen. The only viable thing is for him to vote for Gwen, and I don't think Owen would be willing to vote off any of these people. So, we'll say that Gwen notices, like, that Alejandro's been pretty mysterious, or maybe a little bit evil. She's starting to catch on. She tells these two, and lets Owen know, and maybe tells Owen, maybe a little strategy play, tells them, if he tries to get you to change your vote, just vote for yourself. And maybe in an alternate strategy, Alejandro overhears this, and maybe these two put their votes on Owen to get a Owen-Alejandro tiebreaker. But we'll say that Owen barely maintains his mental grasp, sticks with the plan, and votes for Alejandro as revenge for Noah, which maybe is Gwen's first advertising or her last advertising point to Owen, not to flip his vote. So obviously Alejandro has immunity, so what hurts Alejandro the most is taking out Heather. So they vote for Heather, since actually I don't really think Owen has more qualms about voting Heather out than Alejandro, so I think he'd be able to stick with it. So in an absolute mental fortitude game, Owen sticks, votes Heather out. And it's basically a 4-on-1 at this point. Immunity in Rapa Nui. Since Cody canonically would have had a second shot, and these were the only two in the challenge, Alejandro got splatted first. I think Owen or Cody also gets Cody Jr. on his side, and Cody wins the immunity challenge in Rapa Nui. So, yeah, bye Alejandro. Despite your best efforts in the last episode, that was really his last grasp. He didn't win immunity. So he's gone there. There's no saving him. There's no plot armor. His plot armor expired at the hands of Blaney in episode 20. Episode 23 in Drumheller. This feels like a Gwen win. So, I don't know, would someone blow up the plane celebrating Cody's birthday? I feel like these two would be super close by this point, but I don't think Samey is reckless enough to blow up the plane, and I feel like she would do something more subtle for Cody's birthday. And they're super close at this point, and I feel like Gwen, is more in line with Cody than with Owen. They're all friends here. This is the friendship Final Four. We'll say that they vote off Owen remorsefully, and we get to episode 24, which is a non-elimination. And episode 25. Now you have Gwen, Cody, and Samey, and this is probably Cody dream scenario. I don't think he would have any issues with this at all. And honestly, Cody probably just would be in the gentlemanly position of, I think the plot theme for this episode would Cody trying to be as gentlemanly as possible, and he would basically be throwing. And I think they notice this, and I don't think they want to win this way, or get to the finale this way, but maybe at the end Gwen crosses, and Cody says to Samey, there's more to the game than winning, and that's where you start the shipping. And your finale is Gwen versus Samey, and we'll say, since Gwen already has the win in season 1, the canonical winner is Samey in World Tour, which seems pretty unlikely. And I would say the major turning point is episode 20, deciding between Alejandro and Blaney. The potential for a triple tiebreaker in 13. There was another chance for a triple tiebreaker at some point. I forgot. And Alejandro doing his absolute best to save Heather in 21, but Owen sticking causes this ending. Maybe in an alternate timeline, Alejandro gets Noah to vote for himself. He gets a tiebreaker. Alejandro splits the vote, wins the tiebreaker. Alejandro gets to the final 4. Then we'll say Gwen wins immunity. They vote him off 3-1 anyway, so he gets last 2 more episodes. After one of these two gets voted off in 22 instead of Alejandro, if they're both here. So yeah. This is Total Drama World Tour with the bickering sisters, Samey and Amy. And yeah, I think they add some decent depth to the season, and I wouldn't mind seeing them come back again. I feel like they're very entertaining characters. They just need the right cast around them, because I don't think the Pocket 2 cast is that. So, thanks for watching the video, and let me not so subtly close out the video.